Hello coders, in our today's build we're going to create this amazing BBC news clone application using the latest React Native 0.76.1, and it will be a clean build with the latest feature, and also we're going to access that debugger using that React Native. We're not going to build that by using Expo but bare React Native application, and also you're gonna use a React navigation, the native one, and also for the screens and vector icons for the icons. So this application will be suitable both for iOS and Android, as I'm just running from the Windows because nowadays React Native is so flexible, even the Windows is running so smooth and fast. That's why I'm explaining here. But if you want, also I'm going to show you how you can exercise that one in that iOS format. So it's a very simple, all will work perfectly in both scenario. So now what kind of things we're going to have? As you see, if I just roll at the bottom, I can load new messages, not messages, new newses here. So it's having the pagination. If I click any single news, I can read the details, and beside that I'm gonna have the trending news, right? What kind of trending is available, it will just forecast here. If I click on that BBC icon, as you see, it's taking me to the home page. I have that criteria of the category. I can go through that business category, and you see the news is changes, and also the politics, okay, have the science, also having the technology. So whatever the news criteria it can forecast, we're going to showcase here. And to access all of this news, we're gonna use that news API. I'm gonna show you how you can grab that API key and just roll back to get those latest news within your application layer. It's pretty simple. You just need to create an account and you're good to go. Beside that, we are also having a sign-in option here, same like the BBC scenario. So this all the features we're gonna cover up within this build. As you see the logo here, whenever we click, it's just taking back to our home. So that is pretty much cool regarding that build. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start building the process, and it's a pretty simple process. I'm gonna show you step by step how you can configure, how you can just go through it. It's pretty cool building a React application, like native application in the latest 76. So it's super cool. Stay with me. We're gonna build this end to end, and after end of this video you're gonna have this application running in your phone. So sit back and stay with me, and if you're feeling this video is helping you learn something new, hit the like button, comments if you have anything in your mind, and then please do subscribe. And to start with, I will just take a empty build folder. Here I will open my terminal. While it's opening, I will just go in the documentation because I'm gonna go enhance to hand documentation guide how you can cover up. So that's the ReactNative.dev. So whatever the documentation we're going to explore, don't worry, all the links it will be available in that description. So feel free to go and explore whatever you are needing from there. So in this documentation, it's better to just go and get it started. And by the way, you have a lot of things to explore. You can feel free to explore, and whatever is suits for you, you can go through it. And also to learning the new architecture, you can just go to their blog and you can read about the new architecture, how it's working, how it's really, because nowadays it's bridgeless smooth, which is pretty super cool. And also there's a lot of things, lot of beneficial things is there. What I'm suggesting you, go and read a bit, and then you're gonna understand this better. And after reading, if you start building, you will be having a complete guideline and how super cool to building the React Native application. You're gonna learn that. So if you just going through it, you're gonna say bye bye Flutter. So let's go and hit get started. And from here, as you see, it's now entertaining the Expo build. But no, we're not going to Expo. We love to create the things from the beginning, right? So what are you gonna do to go with that? See, can I use React Native without a framework? Yes, you can, but you need to click on it. So then he say yes, you can use React Native without a framework. However, if you're building a new app with React Native, we recommend using a framework. They are recommending, of course, we are going to build with Expo because Expo is now in the backward 74.1, but React Native is 76. So it's pretty faster, right? Oh, sorry, the 0.76, not 1. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, as you see, to set up your environment, that's the where you can go. And also in the bottom layer you can set up your environment both for macOS, Linux and Windows. It's pretty simple setup. So first you need to install that node. You have the node. If you don't know how to set up the node, you just feel free roll back to the video, I'm gonna show you. Then you need to just install the JDK. So you can use the install that using the terminal. And after that, so you just need to go and throw up this Android Studio, which you need to download, and after you just need to form that Android SDK platform, and after you need to just set up that. So what I'm suggesting you, feel free to watch the video if you cannot handle yourself, because I want you to give it a try by yourself. It's a very cool experience if you can do it alone by your way. So that's the 6 things you just need to go through pretty much carefully. If you cannot do it, let me know in the comments. If I get 5 comments that 5% is unable to do that and requesting to me to do that, I'm gonna just create a video instant. Whenever you the 5 comments is fill up, I'm gonna just throw that video. Okay, so feel free to comments if you really needing to set up the environment. If you cannot do it, just 5 simple comments and I'm gonna drop your video. You're gonna see it's super simple both for iOS and Android, so no worries about it. But before dropping it, give it a try. That's my suggestion for you. So that's, you can feel free to go there. And now get started without a framework. That's the holy grail, the magic word. Without a framework, we're gonna build everything from the beginning. And before 76, it was a heartbroken. Even I was not willing to make any. You can roll back the channel. I was starting building with Expo, but from the 0.76, it's changed. So now if you have the install, like if you previously install a global React Native CLI package, please remove it as it may cause unexpected issues. Means if you're running an application previously, just try to uninstall. Just run this command. It will just for safekeeping, you know. But for me, I know I will not having any issue. So what I'm gonna do, this command I need npx at React Native community /CLI at latest. You see, at latest init awesome project. So I'm gonna copy that things. Okay, so just roll back here, enter. So I'm gonna just cut that awesome project. I'm gonna say bbc clone yt. Okay, and hit enter. So after hitting enter, it will just go in a suggestive format. You know, the pop-ups gonna come up, it will suggest so many things and it gonna start. As you see, because already I created previously one, so now it's started downloading template, copying template, processing template, installing dependency. What those means it gonna create a dummy component layer for you, a dummy application from which you means template application by which you can start building your process for application. Now after that, after building the application, what you need to do, if you are having trouble with iOS, try to reinstall. So that means if you're not installed properly, just cd into iOS, then just pod install or bundle install for the first time. So it's just simple. Now if you haven't started a new project, so this we're not going to do because it's specific version. If you want to go, then npm start. With that command, if you're using the yarn, just make that yarn start. So that simple command can run your entire application perfectly, smoothly, and from the norm. So all other scenario, we're gonna find it in the code, but right now that's the setup we need to get from here. That's it, nothing more, nothing fancy. So if we go back here while it's installing, let's just roll back here to get API key, because this news API key we're going to use that. So if I make that get started, so we need to log in with our account, then we should be able to grab our API key, and that API key we're going to store in our application. When we need, we will use it to fetch the news API. So I'm going to click get API key. As you see, I need to register, so that's where it's going to be tricky. I'm going to just provide my name. Okay, I'm going to provide a password. This say okay, so individual, not a robot, and yeah, agree the terms, submit. Okay, sorry, that should be an email address. Okay, so I'll provide my email address. Okay, what can I say? gmail.com, and hit enter. Okay, scrolling your API key. So as you see, now I'm having my API key, so I can use that API key to fetch my application layer, fetch my data, right? So you just need to copy that API key. Okay, so if I go back to the home, and if I see on that, click on that particular account, you see that API key always there. So that's the key is required to start getting news from here. So fetch the API key from here and you're good to go. Don't worry, don't try to use that key because I'm gonna delete my account. I'm not gonna use that. I have one account there. I'm gonna just fetch API from there. So try to use your own API key, and it's very simple to use, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna roll back to our application layer. As you see, it's just started. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna close my what I'm using right now. I'm gonna close it. Okay, so this emulator is also closed. So what I'm gonna do, put ls, just see if it's created or not. Okay, here is the BBC clone YT is created. Even you go in here, and I think I need to make a refresh here. Okay, what's wrong? Okay. Oops, I was just passing some wrong command. Show more option, refresh, and you see BBC clone is already there. So what I'm gonna do, cd into BBC clone YT, and I'm gonna open it. Code is space dot within my code editor. Now I'm using the Visual Studio Code. If you're preferring any other editor is fine, but better to have this one. It's super cool and pretty simple to use. So now from the terminal, I will take another git bash, and from this git bash, if your environment variable is perfectly aligned, you should be able to run whatever I'm running now. And before going through that structure, I'm gonna just run that npm start to start spinning our application. That's it. So now in that new 0.76.1, as you see, the metro is started, but there is some more benefit over there because it's a bridgeless one, and metro is still having a very tiny bit of a scenario here. So I for run on iOS, A for run on Android, R for reload, D for open dev menu, J for open dev tool. See that one? We're gonna use it so often. So let's put A because I'm gonna run within my Android devices, and for iOS devices you just need to hit the I. Don't worry, at the end of the video, like after finishing the build, I'm gonna show you how you can start up. Okay, I'm gonna show you the setup for also the iOS devices, so don't freak out. It's very simple. We will be fine with that. Okay, so while application is building, okay, there is a failed message, and you know why it's happening? Because that's the messaging. Remember, if I just go with that React Native, because previously I built an application, remember the message scenario from here, what is mentioning here, don't need to uninstall the command line CLI, because the previous version it was there, that's why it just stuck. So what kind of things you will do once your application got stuck? It's pretty simple. You see, you need to close it. You just need to go cd into Android. You see there is a two folder, one is for iOS and one is for Android. So iOS is helping because you see the spot is not installed. Even I have the pod file because it's not macOS, because without macOS you will be unable to use that iOS setup, but in the macOS you can both use iOS and Windows, no worries for that. So now what I need to do for the Gradle build, I need to clean up. So I'm gonna make that Gradle, it should be clean. I'm gonna clean up that, then I'm gonna run, and this time it's gonna work fine. So as the Gradle is clean right now, so I'm gonna cd in my root layer and I'm gonna clear it. Now this time I'm gonna run that npm star again. So I think it will not be having a problem, because whenever you are building a React Native application, you need to just go through and just give it the time to understand where you are messing around, then feel free to come there. So I'm gonna press again A to run on my Android device. So let's see if it's coming in my emulator or not. Okay, this time it's starting with the main activity. Okay, I hope it will start, and we are here. So you're having your first ever React Native application started on 0.76.0. If you, I think not 0 is 1 on that. So if I go in my package.json, you see that React is 18.3.1 and that one 0.76.1, the new build here. So now what we're gonna do, and our entire project is going to be circulated as a TypeScript. So also if I put the J to just run our DevTools here, that's the new DevTools, as you see in a welcome method, same like the feature which is having similarly the browser, but this is not directly the Chrome browser, but they embedded and use their own as their own debugger. As you see the console, source, memory, components, and other profiler. Even you can start directly manipulating here. You can use your style here, you know, whenever new entry you can style the colors and it will just popping up. I'm gonna close it right now because I'm gonna not using right now that one. First, we're gonna set up our entire application layer. We're not going to touch anything of here. As you see that app.tsx, that's the one is responsible to having this entire code base. So first, we're gonna clean this entirely. How we can clean? We're gonna keep that safe area view, and for the styling, we will use that the static style which is following the switching best here. Even you are using that native win twrnc, if you're trying to use the tailwind or SaaS, even it will work in development mode, but whenever you're going to in production level, it sucks. So yeah, for right now, don't use it, but better to understanding and learning, you can try it. But for the production, use that native version of that command line tool of the CSS. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a text here which is going to be BBC clone YouTube. It's saved. So it should be, as you see, the refreshing layer is done. So BBC clone YouTube is super blessing for us. It's a window. You see, it's window, but if you're developing in the Mac, it's more faster. And also Windows, I have only 32 GB RAM, but if I have 64, it will be more faster. You know what I say. So feel free to just check out how faster blazing it's providing right now. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove all those scenario which I'm having here, this dummy background color, and also this entire things I'm not gonna use right now. Later on, we're gonna see how we can reconcile and modify. Also for the section, I'm gonna remove that properties, not require. I'm gonna go with a clean build. Okay, and this one, save. We missed something. What we, okay, here. Okay, we just, okay, cool. So this is our first stage. So also this style which we are not using right now. First thing first, we're gonna create a BBC logo, then we're gonna go and creating our application layer. Okay, so to create a BBC logo, how we can start it? So as you see, that's, I don't have any components and other properties. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a source directory here, and everything I'm working on, keep in the source. I'm gonna leave this other parameter empty. As you see, the index.js, that's the responsible to running our application here, and as you see, it's coming directly from app. If you want to take that one also in the source, you're welcome. You just need to change the path, like // source then app. So you can feel free to go that if you want it to. For me, it's just keep it simple. So I'm gonna get a components layer here, components, and also in the source I'm gonna have another folder which it will be for my screens, and one more folder which will be my constants. So in the components layer, I'm gonna just directly take a file which will be my logo.tsx and rnafs. So that commands will create me a React Native snippet, a component layer of the function. As you see, I'm having my logo. So to eradicate that or to use that, you need to have that ES7 React Native snippet one, not directly ES7, but ES7 that there is one React Redux, not that one. It will not work for you. You need to have that. I think ES7, where is that React Native? Did you miss? ES7 React. Let's try native. There is an extension, of course. Okay, what I'm gonna do in the extension layer, instead of searching all extension, I'm gonna cut that. I'm gonna go what I installed already. So I think I'm gonna find that for you. So, yes, that's the one. Yeah. Okay, we was getting that one, but just miss. ES7 plus React Redux React Native snippets. That's the one gonna work for that command, RANFES. So that's now creating my logo. So for right now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just dump that logo here. So I'm gonna just grab my logo. So it should coming from there, but as you see, not giving me that auto import. Now it's coming logo. So you can see that logo is coming here at the very screen top, a minor properties. You can zoom in to see it in a good way, but don't worry, you're gonna make it bigger. And to create that logo instant, we also need to having some kind of colors, and for that colors properties, whatever the color we're gonna have, that we will create a static file here to combine that color, and in that constant file we'll find that index.js. ts file, and we're going to export from there. Export const, we're going to make our colors from here, which will be an object of color. We're going to provide our white color, and white color, it will be just simple white color. And also just I will have 7-8 colors only, maybe for I think around 7 color. So what it will be, that fully white, black fully white, light black will be and 50% opacity, gray is 3 with and hashing properties. Then we have the 9 light gray, we have the dark gray, we have the blue color. Now you can change this color if you want, and also you can have your own color. It's a very good way to go through that, because later on if I want to change the colors or want to implement the theming, I can directly indicate from here. Okay, so now in our logo, what we're gonna do, in the logo it should be 3 properties like for BBC, right? So I'm gonna wrap that entire logo within the touchable opacity. So in that opacity, I'm gonna pass a view right now, so it will be a view. In that view, we're gonna render a text which will be V. If we save that, we're gonna have a V. So now for that properties, we should properly align some of the styles, and for the styles, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna wrap up all these styles which I'm using, and I'm gonna explain, because whenever I'm gonna type it, it will kill your time. As you see the colors, I need to import from the colors from my constants. So now whenever I'm implementing that colors, I'm gonna let you know what kind of colors I'm using and why I'm using. Okay, so that style here, so for that view, let's put some style and second bracket, then it should be styles dot logo view. What we have in the logo view, as you see, we have in the logo view, we have a background color which is the black color. We have a padding of 8, padding horizontal 8, padding vertical 2, border radius 3, margin left 5. And also for the logo text, we have the color white, font weight 700, font size 20, and entire the container which is congested the entire BBC, the 3 separate block which gonna be having a flex direction raw. Why flex direction raw? Because in the web by default flex direction working as raw, but in mobile application the flex box is usually working as the column first. So you need to, whenever you are trying to use the raw version, you need to define that flex direction raw. So for this one, you're gonna define some style which will be styles dot logo container, and here in the text layer we need to provide also that which should be style, going to be styles dot which will be logo text. Save. As you see, we are now having 1B, and we will just simply copy paste is should be twice, and VB, and we're gonna pass that as C. That's it. We have the BBC logo, and whenever we're gonna click this logo, we should take our user to our home page, right? To our home. That means that our home directory. So now we need to set up our navigation, because in this entire application we should be having 3 pages, the 3 screens. One is the home screen, one should be that news screen, another would be the login screen. For right now we're gonna end up in that proportion. Later on we're gonna come up with more flexibility, but before going through that, we also want to make another things, which is the header, which is one of the best priority. So do the header, we also need another file, right? So I'm gonna just cut it. This one we are not going to call it the logo here, because we're gonna call our logo to our header. Okay, I think this can go out. So in the component layer, I'm gonna take another file which will be header.tsx rnfes and our header. So I'm gonna cut everything from the save container to the others. I'm gonna just dump our header here. Header. Okay, so it's refreshing. As you see, header is there. Even we're not providing the safe area view because it's the latest bundling of the Pixel 9. It's not providing an error, but it's supposed to take your text to be the topper level if you're using the previous version of the Android phone, or you're using the Android iOS. But right now it's working fine. Don't worry, we're gonna set everything in a proper way. Should be safe area view, so that whatever this safe area view going to be past this one, you see the black direction here with the texting other properties, it's gonna just let that be empty. And also we will go with that status bar, and status bar on the bar style should be the bar style. We're gonna provide that light content, And after that light content, we are just going to render a simple view over here. And for the style, again, similarly like before, I'm gonna dump my entire style here. That's a very easy way to go, but again I'm saying you first need to go one by one, because that's why I'm gonna explain. It's just I need to type, and that's why I'm just skipping that. So now in that particular layer, I'm gonna having a touchable opacity, but first, yeah, should be first I'm gonna having a, what you call that, just say a view, and in that view I'm gonna having a text which will say news. Okay, a simple text. And in that root layer of that particular view, I'm gonna putting a style which is going to be styles dot container. And what kind of things that container is appearing, because you see the flex direction going to be raw, because it will be three properties together. One will be the back icon, another it will be the logo, another it will be for signing option. So these three properties need to be aligned with an align item center, justify which is going to be space between, padding 10, border bottom white 1, and border bottom color is black. I'm putting the black color so that you can see the color properly, but also I can just make 0.5 so it will not be that much, you know, fat in a way. So now, so that's just a simple complexity here, and I'm gonna put a style should be styles dot, and it's going to be back button style, and also that text property put a style which going to be styles dot, and that one going to be back button text. And for the back button, as you see, we are not providing any style right now. And for the back button text, font weight 600, text transformation is just uppercase. That's it, so simple. And after that view, that one we're gonna create as a touchable opacity, but not right now. So then we're gonna have our logo. As you see, it's now split all together, right? So after that, we will have a touchable opacity. Here we're gonna having a text which going to say us sign in, a simple text. As you see in the right, is having that text. For the touchable opacity, put a style which going to be styles dot sign in view, and for that text going to be style dot sign in text. Now what is view and what is text? Sign in view is just putting a flex there, because we're gonna have an icon, we're gonna having one icon, but till now we are not like align anything, so that we need to provide that icon, but we're gonna come up with the solution, don't worry. So also the sign in text, we are just making font weight and margin right 5. So now it's time to set up our navigation and icons. To getting the navigation, we will make that React Native navigation, and from here we'll just go within this application layer, and now you can read the docs and you can try it. I'll go with the read the docs and getting started here. So prerequisite here, if you're already familiar with JavaScript, React and React Native, then you will be able to get moving with React navigation quickly. So if not, it's asking to learn React Native, learn the main concept, how hooks work, how context work. I'm preferring, you know that, and minimum requirements is React Native 0.72.0, so you need to go beyond that level. Okay, so now we know we have the 76, so no worries, we're gonna copy that, we need to install that one. So I'm gonna take another directory here, and over there I'm gonna just paste it to install. And after that, as you see, installing dependency into an Expo managed project. If you're having Expo, you need to go through that. But I think right now, Expo is maintaining with the link properties, so you don't need to worry about it, because navigation properties Expo by default has something. Okay, so no need to use that React navigation if you're building in Expo, and we are just going to ignore it. And if you are installing dependency into a bare React Native project, so that's the one we are requiring. So I'm gonna install that. And after that, if you are using the iOS, you just need to one simple command you need to run. Just go into cd into iOS, then just pod install. It will install the pod dependency here. And if you're using that Kotlin in the Java, you can go with that, but we're using Kotlin. 76 is just Kotlin, so we need to go with that main activity class. Where you can find that main activity, we're not creating that properties, right? So I'm gonna close everything in the Android, in the app, on the source, on the main, in the trace, not the res, I think in the Java, main activity.kt. Also you can search like that, main activity.kt, it will appear, and we need to dump it after that function. That's it. So that's our properties, and also we need to copy this one at the top level, so we need to import the statement. So I'm gonna import it here. Cool. And after that we are good to go. And there is now I can wrap that entire things with the navigation container. So what I can do right now, if I roll back to my app.tsx, I can just use that navigation container here. So that's the one parameter. Now the second parameter is hello React navigation. I need to create the navigation screen, right? I'm not just going to wrapping it within that container, but I want to use it somehow. To use that one, I need to go and grab that React navigation native stack to create this stack. We're not going to use the bot like the other stack, we're just going to use the native stack properties. So that's the one, like the tab bar stack and other. So we are just going to native one. And also we need to go, if you are installing the elements library, for this build we are going with the ion icon, so we're not going to with that elements library, just keep it as it is. So after that we can start building this application. You see, we can just grab these two commands. I'm gonna copy that, and here I'm gonna paste it. Okay, so save it. I'm gonna go one by one. So first thing first, we can entire things we can navigate through it. So how we will do that? To implement that one, we should have to separate screen, right? First we're gonna create that screen parameter. I'm gonna close that kt. So here in that source on the screen parameter, I'm gonna having three separate screen. One, it will be home.tsx rnfes should be home, and then we're gonna have news.tsx rnfes, so that gonna be providing the single news parameter. Then we have our sign in.tsx rnfes should be the our sign in page. So I have 3 page here. So what I'm gonna do, I already import that statement. So what I'm gonna do right now, passing 3 separate properties. How we can do that? To implement that, we're gonna create a new stack. So should be const, it will be like, say, I'm gonna take a stack which going to be coming from create stack navigator. So whenever you are trying those, be careful. You see, we take that stack from create native stack navigator, not from navigation container. Navigation container will wrapping everything together, but create native stack navigator should be wrapping those others. Don't worry, ignore this error, because we need to, or we can go through it. I'll go through it. I'm gonna close my terminal, because by default native is not coming every single property. So what you need to do, you need to just, whenever you are having to bring the navigation properties, you need to close the terminal, then open it again. And that's going to be happen also for one more properties, which also we are going to install. That package which will be React Native vector icons, because that icons property also doing the same. You need to write some specific file on the Android properties and others, so that you need to like manually overwrite the file. That's why it's better to rerun it. So I'm gonna copy that, and I'm gonna finish the setup, then I'm gonna open it again. So okay, and after installing, what we need to do, as you see, iOS setup, Android setup, and for installing, okay, we're installing that for iOS. As you see, we need to get that list. So I'm gonna copy this entire list, and there is a file name info.playlist. So if we just go over here in that iOS folder, as you see in the iOS, that directory here, or I think, where is that file? It will not be available. If you go here, info, it's available, it's here. Okay, it's just, it was there, but we missed it. Okay, so that's the info.playlist. So we need to pass a key and array. So at the bottom we're gonna pass that. So as you see, after that key, I'm gonna just pass that properties, which the array should be coming up with the key is the UI F fonts, and then passing up the design. So that gonna sort of my iOS. And for Android, we need to open our Android app build.gradle. Then here we need to apply this command. So let's go again in the Android. I'm gonna close other parameter. So should be Android, and after that app build.gradle, app, not that, app, and here build.gradle. So at the bottom of that layer, after passing everything on the top, I'm gonna just showcase to be put there. Okay, done. One more thing is there, we need to add apply. So that's the one we did right now. That's for the manual things whenever we are having a separate icons properties. And then also we need to go to pass this two line. So this two line also happen to be needed. Android settings.gradle, so it will be Android, not in app. Android should be settings.gradle. So here we need to pass the two line. Don't forget to remove the plus icon, it will provide an error. And after that properties, also we need to make that this properties implementation React Native vector icons within the dependencies in that Android app build.gradle. So that's the one we use. So it's a dependency here, and we are going to passing it here. I think that's the one, Android app build.gradle. So now we're having those properties, and now I think this one not require, is a package.com we have already, so I think we're good to go. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna now just and start my application, npm start again. So it's gonna combine and fix every single scenario. So whenever you are, because whenever you're going to write something in the build folder, in the string folder, or any of the directory here in Android and iOS, it's better to close your terminal than rerun your application again. Otherwise you're gonna face the error. So it's running, let's just give it a try again. Let's see if it's running or not. If it's not running, we're gonna debug, no worries, we're gonna do it anyhow. So even is facing any problem, if you're having doubts, if you don't know how to do it, don't freak out, just stay with me, we're gonna fix it and build the entire things. Okay, as you see, the screens now, vector icons, all are loading. You see, now is up to date. So all the things is built up. It's not directly tracking that in that like real-time scenario. Maybe that feature gonna come later on, but it's a very powerful thing. Whenever you are writing something in that core level, you need to have to start up again. Okay, bundle is loaded and it's good. So our setup is good. Now we can start building our icons and also getting to know everything we record till now. First thing first, we're gonna set our entire stack navigation. Now to create the navigation stack, as you see, we're going to roll up everything. So we have that stack navigation. We're gonna create a root navigation, root stack here, should be root stack. It will be just a simple function where we're gonna define, in the return value, we're gonna define what kind of stack we're gonna pass. Should be stack dot. As you see, now that's the benefit of having the TypeScript. If you put the dot, you can see the properties. So I will take the navigator properties, and from that navigator, I'm gonna pass in the state dot screen. So here I'm gonna get my first screen, then second, then third. So first screen name should be the home, and the first screen component should be the home component. So need to import that. Okay, and here also the initial route name I'm gonna pass as a home route. So now as you see, we're having our home route. So after that, instead of this header, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna navigate that within the navigation container, wrap everything, then passing that root stack. So that root going to happen to be access of our home. Now home doesn't have, as you see in the home, we don't want that dummy, that header here, because we have our own header. If we roll back to our home, we can pass our header all together here, should be header, and just import it from component. As you see, we have our header, right? So we don't want the header from our home, so the dummy one. So while we can do that, we don't want any header of the any proportion. Like if we want manually detain that, we will just make that options, and from the options we will just make that header shown should be false. That's the one step. And if you want to make it, you need to just check for it every single properties. But instead of running it here, we'll just make that screen options, and within the screen options we should be able to pass that header shown properties, the similar properties here, but this time it will work as global layer, and it will be header showing should be off for all the properties. And one string is here. I'm going to define my two separate string, which will be the news, and another it will be for sign in, and this one going to be for sign in, and sorry, this one going to be for news, and that one for the sign in. Now instead of that home, if we put that no, I want that news should be my home route, the first initial route, we can just navigate that. But also though, that just is better to having reloading your screen, because it's gonna change the naming properties. As you see, the news is available. I'm gonna just specifically roll back to the home. Okay, we're good now. So we got our navigation done properly. So what we can do more is that let's just go and implementing the other parameters. So let's roll back to the headers. So in the header we have some more work pending, is that we need to concrete our properties. Like for here, we're gonna take one properties called icon. So whenever we're gonna render our header, and whenever we're gonna have our icon, which going to be, let's just define the value as a props, and we're gonna pass that props here, which will be interface, and that it will be props. And if the icon is available, then it will be like as a boolean value. So that's the properties we're gonna decline. So here it will be only available. So instead of that view, we're gonna also pass that a touchable opacity here, or instead I think that's the one. Okay, so I'm gonna write a condition here: when the icon is available, okay, then it will be the touchable opacity here. Then it will be, instead of text, we're gonna pass, for right now I'm gonna just pass the text, which is going to be an icon. And after that, if that text is like the icon is not defined from there, we're gonna pass that other properties, which going to be that one. So right now we don't have any icon. If I just remove from here, as you see, we have the icon properties. So in the icon we will going to use that react icons, not the react icons, but the ion icons. Okay, should be ion icons. And also we need to import that ion icons from React Native Vector Icons. The import statement should be something like that: import ion icons, and that would be from at the rate of React Native. I think we should be React Native Vector Icons. Okay, what is that? React Native, and that one it should be okay, at the rate it will not be there, just passing that React Native Vector Icons. So that's the icons properties should be available there. As you see, there is a type error problem, so you need to install that just to go with that type declaration. Okay, vector icons, copy that, and in my second terminal I'm gonna just replace that copy here to just get the typo. So to see what kind of icon it has, just go in that property of that React Native Vector Icons, and there is a GitHub page for alongside to where you can see all available icons. So that's the one, React Native, not that one, the directory portion, that's the one should be. So here for the ion icons, you can grab, you just click on that all properties to for together. I think FG8, that's the one, the ion icons. So you can see the icons, just get the name and you can use it. So we will use it right now so far, and then you can have a better understanding in this so far. So now we're gonna have an icon which the name should be arrow, and the arrow back the name it will be. And after that also we also going to provide the size. Now size should be 24. Something wrong here. What is that? Did you mean okay, ion, or is that okay? I think we misspelled something, maybe should be this one, ion icons. I think I misspelled at the top layer here. Yes, Okay, so now we should be able to get one icon here for that ion icons property. You see there is an error here. Don't worry, I'm gonna just hit reload to see if we can sort out the problem, but still the problem is persisting. I think ion icons maybe. Okay, what's wrong here? Does not have any construct called signature. There should not be an error. Touchable opacity, we import the touchable opacity here, and this import layer. Okay, you see the ion vector icons, then it should be / ion icons. So we need to get the icons from that extract library properties, otherwise it will just extract an error. So okay, now what I'm gonna do, I think it's good, so I'm gonna just close that application, then open again. Just you know, go fast and forward to see the properties is working or not. The problem is there, we got the vector icons but we didn't get the / ion icons. So we need to specify which library we want to use. So as you see right now, we're having that ion icon. So now whenever we're gonna click on that icon, we should be go backward, right? So right now I'm gonna just keep it like that. I'm gonna go in that sign in portion, sign in. I'm gonna grab the header here, so should be header, and on that header I'm gonna just provide that icon should be true. So means right now we see the news, but once we go sign in, we should be the other value. So to go on that properties, as you see in the text layer, we should be also getting another icon here, should be ion icons, and that icons, the name should be the person name, and person, and the size, it will be the 16 of size, and also the color, which going to be colors dot black. So as you see, that's the color properties what we are talking about. That layer, sign in view, as you see, flex direction row, align item center. So that's two all together coming at the center layer. So whenever we're gonna click, we're gonna take our application layer to that other parameter to navigate on that property. So const navigation should be used navigation. Okay, so whenever I'm gonna click it, remember in normal static web application, what we did on click means we're gonna click with the mouse, but here in our mobile application we are pressing the button, right? We are pressing on the screen. So what React did, breaking the similar fashion, we click there, on click, we press there, should be the on press function. So on press, I'm gonna just define a function here, and the navigation dot navigate, we're gonna navigate to our sign in page. Okay, so now if we click here, as you see here, we are in sign in. You can see the sign in. If we go back, so we also need to click one patch property here, should be here on press. Here we should be able to go back, navigation dot go back. So it's gonna just take us back to this previous state. If we click, we are in the home. If we click, also if we click in the logo, it should take us to the home. To just roll back to our logo, also you're gonna grab our navigation here. Oops, should be const navigation, should be use navigation, and don't forget to import it from React Navigation Native, otherwise it will providing an error and it will not working properly. So navigation dot navigate, it will always take us to the home property. When in the sign in, if we click, we are in the home. So now there is an error on that. As you see, what is defining that argument is mismatch, and that's because we are using the TypeScript, right? And that's the problem, and I'm passing from there. Feel free to go in that React navigation properties where they can explain properly why you can see the error and how to cover up. And how to cover up, I'm going to help you, right? And how we can do that, it's very simple. Remember the type safety in the root layer. We're going to take another function, type.ts. Here we're going to define our types properties. So I'm going to export the type, export type, or you can just make that export interface, no worries, the same parameter, it will work. So root stack param list, and here we're going to define that param list, how it will be there. So we're going to have a home, which is going to be an undefined properties, and also we're going to have right now have a news, which also will be undefined. We are having a sign in screen, which also going to be undefined. We have three properties. So now here export type, we're going to export another type, which the type it will be home screen navigation prop. Okay, navigation, let's say prop is equal to native stack. I think the navigation prop, native stack navigation prop. Yes, that's the one. So within that properties, you see that's imported from that React navigation native stack. So there is a type parameter for that property, and within that property I'm gonna wrap through my that root stack param list. I'm gonna wrap this one here. So this one should be a single bracket string property. I'm gonna remove the other one. So in that parameter, as I define that value, we will just pass our home. We can pass our other properties, like now we can access that. So I'm gonna just keep the home, right? Or I will keep nothing, it will work same. I'm gonna just remove this, we'll see. So now in that home screen navigation prop, we should be able to get those property, and let's see if we can get that or not, just to see. So home screen navigation prop, it should be aligned to create this separation. So let's see, home screen navigation prop. So you just need to finish within in one curly braces. As you see now, what it's gonna give us, if we have 1,000 screen, doesn't matter. Whenever we type, you see now it's providing which screen I'm gonna jump off. Now I have 3 screens, providing 3, but if I have 100, doesn't matter. With the TypeScript, you are just going with the type safety properties. Also in these properties here, we do the same thing, home screen navigation properties, and you are good to go. Oh, oops, we are in the wrong we just pasted in the wrong place. Should be here, so it would be okay, done. So error is gone. We can come back to home, we can go in the sign in, we can go back to the home. So I think we are good to go. So now it's time to grab our other properties to bring back our content, which is the life of our application layer. Remember, we have one file where I just told you to define to get the property value, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna define one properties here, which will be the config file, config.ts. So now this file, I'm gonna make 2 separation, which will be export const. I'm gonna provide that news underscore API underscore key. Here I'm gonna define my key, so that will be a value here. And also I think also I'm gonna provide that I can provide the other properties, but I think the key value is enough for it. Remember the key which we used to grab it. I'm gonna just paste my key here, and I'm gonna close that file. So I got my key. You just pass that key in that string value property, and that's it. So let's roll in the home. So here all the things going to work. So first in the home, we should be having in the top layer properties where we can just pass that other parameter. Remember, we have one index which going to be coming for the constant folder. So in that here, we're gonna provide that our type should be export const, tabs. So within the tabs property, which will be an array, we're gonna pass that as a 2, I think 5 separate values should be aligned there. One, it will be grabbing the top stories, business, politics, science, and technology. So that's the 5 properties we're gonna define. So now where we will engage that type, like that properties here, remember, so that's the header we provide here. And after header, I'm gonna pass in view here. So in that view, I'm gonna generate a flat list. Remember, flat list, not the mapping, flat list. So in the data, I'm gonna pass our tabs data. I'm gonna just import it from the const. Remember, constant, I'm getting the data back from there. So in that properties, also I'm gonna passing a key instructor. Remember, we have one string there, so all the string can be in the template property. And now I'm gonna passing a render item, which will be render tab item. Okay, and I'm going to create that component here in the top, const render should be render tab item, and by default it will take the parameter as an item properties, so that it will get the item, and that item just surely it should be the property of a string. So I'm going to get as item, and the item should be as a string. Okay, So now within that properties, I'm going to return inline, which it will be touchable opacity. And within the touchable opacity right now, I'm just pass hello. Okay, just see if it's working. So as you see, 5 hello, and from where is 5 hello is coming? From there. So now instead of hello, if I just take that item, we should get that top stories, business, politics, science and technologies. So it's time to make it more faster and make it more plausible. And for to do that, remember, we have all the styles which we generated beforehand. Don't worry, don't freak out. I'm gonna explain where and why we are doing that, so no worries about that. I'm just type it before. It's very pain to type the real style here one by one. So this is the render item, the first ensure render item here. So now we're gonna make it to work it in a bit good way. So first thing first, remember that flat list, we don't want to be an column, we want to be place it in a horizontal. We need to just pass that properties horizontal, and as you see, it's now horizontal view. And okay, cool. And for the style, for the container style, we are providing that styles dot tab container. So that's the style we are providing. And what kind of things is indicating? It's just making padding horizontal 16. Or we can say instead of 16, we will just provide a 10. It's okay, it's up to you, just putting a gap horizontally at 16. That's it. So now that property is okay. So let's go in the render tab item. So here we're gonna make so many things, the so many other properties. So let's first of that style property. The style should be styles dot tab. Okay, so that's the one style, it should be coming there. And for that text item, let's put the style which going to be styles dot tab text. Okay, done. So as you see now, if I roll back, that's horizontal bar. Now that tab text, what it means, as you see in the tab, margin right is coming 20, in the tab text, colors coming black and font size getting 16. Only that two properties. So now what we need to do to remove that, you see the padding properties, what I'm gonna do is that providing another properties by which we're going to remove that horizontal things, which will be show horizontal scroll indicator, which by default is coming as a true, but we will make it as false. So now even I'm scrolling in horizontal, it's not showing up. Now if you want to more, like if you want to more pluralism, you can put it here. Like if you want to put education, simple. If you just add it here, it just reflect here. So that's so simple and cool. So it's dynamic way we are fetching that one. So right now there is so many things, other properties, because whenever I'm gonna click here, there should hit an action. But before that, this view, I'm gonna just pass in style here, should be styles dot tab view. Okay, so what the tab view means, what it's doing here, it's just making a margin vertical of 10. That's it. So it's just putting a gap vertically in between. Now I'm gonna take some state here, just state to maintaining all other properties. So first state, it's going to be const, it would be loading, then set loading, and we're gonna use that user state hook here by default, which going to be having to be false. So I'm gonna just grab that state and other properties, because you know we know how to grab that. So this one which we're gonna indicate later, because that will be a news data. So we're gonna grab that news properties, we're gonna grab that props properties. Okay, so to that news data, if we roll back to the type, we're gonna provide an indication what kind of data or what kind of type our news should have. So we just make that. We can also make that interface properties. So interface, which going to be news data, and we can just export it. In our news data, there should be author, which going to be as a string parameter. I'm going to explain that. I'm going to show you why it's author and from where it's coming. We're going to log that, then you will understand it better. And also you're going to have the content properties, which also bring back to us a string. We're going to have the description, which going to be as a string properties. And then we also going to be have published at properties, which also going to be a string. Then in the source property, which typically going to be an object, id should be string, and then name should be a string. And after that we are going to have a title, should be having a title, also going to be having string, and after that URL should be string, and also URL to image also going to be as a string. So that's the properties going to be an EWS news data. So now if we just go and import that news data, so that's import is done. So there is basically these properties which gonna lend us to this loading going to be passing that indicator. There we're gonna set our news, so we're gonna call the API. That selected tab going to be dominated here. As you see, by default the tab 0 means by default is selected the top stories. So whenever you're gonna fetch the news, it will select the top stories by default. Then whenever we're gonna click, we will make that happen. The page, it will be the page we're gonna set page 1 per page. So every page we're gonna call the 10 news data, not more but 10. And navigation, you know, we already did that. So now we're gonna write a simple on press function, a simple function the way we used to do it in React. Nothing fancy, just a React function. So on press, and here we're gonna make that, we will say set selected tab, which going to be our item, and in our top layer we're gonna log that item. So log should be item as item. And how we can see the log? As you see, we okay, item, it will not be, should be selected item, my bad. So it will be like that. And there I will, if I just hit reload, there should be an gradual I think it will pop up. Let's just give it a time. JavaScript logs will be removed from Metro in React Native 0.77. Please use React Native DevTools as your default tool. Okay, so means then later on that log which is logging here in the Metro right now, it will not be there. So as you see the selected tab and the top stories, now if I put J, as you see our DevTools is running. So all the logs, it will be available here in the console layer. As you see, selected tab stories. Now if we just click any of the tab, I'm gonna shrink a bit. Okay, that's a real combination of the tools which we are recording. Previously we used to use the Flipper or any other third-party library. Now politics, click in the politics, see science. Okay, every time we select and how many times we tapping here, it's all are logged properly. So with that parameter, now we can be available to see which one is selected tab, because according to that tab we are going to fetch our data. Okay, cool, we are having that portion. Now it's time to go and rock and roll to provide our data properties. We're gonna fetch our data, and how we can fetch that, we're gonna write a simple function, just a simple try catch function, and it's gonna be responsible to fetch our entire data. So to do that, const, we're gonna get a get data function, and it will be an asynchronous function because we're gonna talk to our database. And here we're gonna make that try catch block. Now in the catch we're gonna provide the error, so should be in the log properties going to be error fetching let's say news. Then we're gonna pass our error. Okay, and also we need to pass another properties in the finally. We're gonna pass that set loading should be false, because in one instance whenever you're gonna try to get the data, we will make that set loading as true. And after passing that set loading as true, we also need to go that const, we're gonna pass that category section, because that's the category we're gonna pass that. And to entirely make that properly aligned, we will go with a type definition here. So just to make that type safety, we're gonna make that type should be, let's say as a tab is equal to, we're gonna pass the variable the type of tabs, and in the tabs which going to be generating as a number of values. So that can be the tabs parameter. The error is coming I think from here. This the parameter, yeah, that's the property is giving error. Don't worry, we're gonna fix it right now. Now we're gonna make this const, and it should be category underscore map. So we're gonna align with that category properties, and from there we're gonna just pass that record, and from the record we're gonna pass the tab, and also it should be the value of a string and done. And after that, we will, within the object, we're going to define what kind of things, what kind of criteria it will go and take. Remember, the top stories, it will get the general stories, business, the business, politics should be the politics, science should be science, properties, technology should be, we're just getting it as the lowercase value. And instead of doing that, also you can make that capitalize, and then also it will just work. I believe that's one. I think it's okay. You can go. It's good to go. You can make in that way. Also, you can just define as in a lowercase properties. Then you can make it capitalize. Also, that will work. Now, what we will do here in the category properties should be a category map. And here we're gonna pass that selected tab. So that will be our first part. That's the category should be there. And now, that's one properties. Again, I'm saying if you just making that one as an smaller case and then put it in a different way, because this the one, this top story is getting the general news. Okay, so that's the way we are combining that. So right now I believe that top stories, okay, we'll sort it out later on. So here what we're gonna say, const response is equal to await. We'll just go build in fetch method, nothing fancy. With the backtick, we'll just go https, and here we'll go with the news api.org, and within that property we'll go version 2, and after that we'll go top, and here it will be headlines, and from the headlines on the category we'll grab the category. Remember, the category we provide, that category should be aligned there, and we're gonna also make that API key should be aligned there. Remember, we have the API key should be news API key from our config, need to be applied there. And after grabbing that, we will also get with the page equal to be the page which we define there, means the page 1, and after another variable should be aligned there, which is going to be page size, which it will be also getting that purpose value. So that's the simple combination layer of data. We're creating a response which going to be https news api.org version 2, getting from the top headlines, category, the providing category, the selected category which you are passing, API key, the API key we are providing, the page will be the page value, page size should be the purpose value. And after that properties, also we need to pass several value properties which going to be the headers, and should be headers, and on this headers property I need to define what kind of content it gonna generate, should be content dash type, and on the type property it should be application /JSON. And after that, the method also we can define. By default it will be a get method, but of course we can just align on that. Now once the things going to be coming there, we're gonna get within a variable await response. Remember, the data will be coming as and not within it will come within a stringify method. We need to convert it the JSON format. So in the log we're gonna log the data, whatever the data is coming for. Now how we can grab that data, as you see that value, we will just define one use effect hook. On that use effect properties, we're gonna just get data, remember, and we're gonna get the first page, the first one. And remember, we're gonna set the tab. Every time we click the tab, it's gonna define that. So okay, we also can get the number as the variable as the number, and the first parameter, the get data, it will be 1. The set page also it will be 1, because every time we click on tab it will select as 1, and that property is going to render whenever the selected tab is going to be changed. That time it's going to be eradicate. Okay, I think we missed some parameter. What I miss? Use effect, I believe it should work. What is saying here, expression ts. Okay, I'm gonna just remove that. Let's see again, use effect. Okay, and that's going to be that selected tab. Okay, cool. And now that my two of the properties going to be aligned here, one it will be the get data and set page 1. So right now if we come over here, as you see there is an error, the fetch error is indicating should be here. I'm gonna just reload my terminal just to see if it's having or not. Okay, No. Click on that. Should be getting the data. No, we are not getting anything. Even in the terminal, we are not fetching anything. Means something happening. We just need to go on that property. Okay, so the get data, we're getting the page number, page, response method, the log. I think it's just taking a bit of time. Maybe the glitch. Okay. That should get back our data. Okay, did we mess around? Did we miss to implement something? I don't think so. Await response to JSON. Okay. Okay, while it's just patching around, we can also make that properties a bit hackier so that we know which one is selected. Remember the tab text type here. So in that one, we're gonna take in the third bracket so we can use the multiple parameterism of style. So if item is equal to that selected tab and we're gonna grab another style, styles dot tab text active. So means the font weight, it will be bold and text decoration should be underlined. So still now we are not having anything loaded from our API. Means okay, we are not getting our data value. I'm just gonna set to see the properties which I think the loading properties we can check if it's providing any. Okay, should be loading. Yeah, okay, the loading got through, means it's working with the API. Remember, we are passing the data, it's just calling through the API, but it's waiting for the response, means it's taking a bit of time to get the response from there. So that can be a problem. As you see the news API, I think everything we did here, it was done properly. Okay, why that should be an error? Or you just wait a bit if it's loading. I think I'm gonna keep that loading log here, so it will be loading, and I'm gonna hit reload. Let's see if it's loading. Instance is running, means the data. Okay, loading false means, yeah, first false then true. Now till false, we'll wait a bit the first time. Okay, now we got something. As you see, yeah, it's just taking a bit of time, but we are having our data. So in the data, in the articles, we are getting the news articles and the status is okay. So within that status, as you see, the total results is 36 and articles we are getting 10 at a time. So now we can set our variables according to that parameter. And how we can set that? Remember, after that data properties, we can check our status, right? If the data dot status is equal to okay, only then we're gonna set the properties should be set news, and that set news we're gonna set that we're gonna also constraint that prev news property. Remember the previously we can have something. If the page is equal to 1, then we're gonna set data dot articles. That's the articles we are having that. If there is already the pages available, then we're going to enter the previous value. So whatever the prev news or prev news is there, then we're going to spread that data dot articles. So means first, if there is like a news property, like if there is a prev news, like the page is equal to 1, means we doesn't have any article available right now. So we can just whatever we're gonna come in the first page, we're gonna dump it there. Now the next page, whenever go at the bottom on that, we're gonna push that second parameter, and that will contain the previous to the new, concat the both together. Okay, so now we have that. So we should be showcasing our data. So now I'm gonna just go at the bottom layer of that. So after these properties, we're gonna just showcase our data. So remember, we also gonna create a loader properties first. To get the loader, we'll just create a single component here, because once it's loading, we want to show that loader. So loader.tsx rnfes. So that loader will showcase our loader properties, and of course I'm gonna just grab the container value here so that the style properties should be pop up, and that one it will be also you're gonna generate the height property, and that height we're gonna get from that window height. So should be const, it will be height we're going to get from the dimension property dot get, we're going to get from our entire Windows setup. And also that double tree, I think we have one color for that, the gray color. So should be colors dot gray. Okay, so what we're gonna have within properties, we have a view, and that view going to say style should be styles.container properties, and instead that text it will be there. Before that we will also provide one activity indicator, which going it will be self-closing tag. Need to import it from the React. As you see, it's all are imported at the top, dimension and activity. And here we're going to provide the size, should be the larger size, and the color should be that color. We can provide the colors of blue, colors dot blue. Okay, and also the text property, we will pass that as a loading, then dot dot dot, and for the text it will be just providing style, styles dot say text. Now what the container means to have, to providing the entire height, means the device height it will be there, and an item should be center, it will be in the middle, and the background color should be the white, and padding from the top it will be that 150 pixel gap is there. And for the text, margin top 10, font size 16, and the color is the colors gray. Now if we roll back to the home, and in that view instance, remember after that view we are going to get our flat list. So here we're gonna generate that. If we just come our just take back our loader, so let's see how it's gonna, how it will see. Now you see, that's the loading properties we want to show when our product is loading. So when this loader gonna come, so the loading, if there is loading state available and the page is equal to 1, only then it will showcase our loader, and otherwise we'll generate one flat list, and on that flat list the data should be the data of our news data. And after that, the key structure, for the key parameter we will pass that item and we will get our index parameter, and that one should be index dot to string property you're gonna provide. So in string, the string alignment, the index should be by default as in properties here. And that render item, we will get our that render news card. So we're gonna pass that property at the top. We're gonna create another properties by which we can render our card. So it should be const render item, and here it will be a simple inline function should be returned over there. So now here by default we're gonna grab the item. So in that item, the item should be the news data. So from here, we in the inline properties we're gonna just return a value. So should be return, and I think it's inline return, no need to pass that. Should be touchable opacity here. Okay, so in that touchable opacity, first thing first, we're gonna just pass a text which should be hello. Just see if the hello is coming. As you see loading, and now we have the 10 hello is there. Okay, so means it's working perfectly. And also need to make several scenario here. So first thing, it will be on end reach threshold, which going to be 0.5, and also we can make that contain container style, which will be styles dot list properties. Means that list it will generate one, the padding horizontal should be 10, and from the padding bottom I'm gonna just bottom to 112, where we will show the indicator. And how we can showcase the indicator, remember after that style we will make that like say list footer component. On in that footer component I'm going to provide another activity indicator. Also it will be self-closing indicator. The size should be is equal to large size, and the color should be colors dot, we can make it as a gray because previous one has the blue. As you see, that one is loading, so that's the one it will just loading more data. And also in the style properties we're gonna provide that styles dot indicator style, and in that indicator style we're just making a margin vertical, providing a 5 pixel of vertically gap. Now this one, it will not showcase all the time. When it will come, right, that's we will fix it. Whenever it will come, we're gonna make something, and if it's not coming, we're gonna fix something, right? So right now I'm gonna keep it as like that. You can, you know, there is so many things you can do on that properties. So right now what I'm gonna do, instead of that rendering these properties on that particular list, oops, not that list, at the top layer of the list, I'm gonna provide the actual data here, so that we should be able to see more scenario. So how we can see that? In the touchable opacity, I'm gonna grab the image property. So should be image, it will be image from the React Native, and here I'm gonna provide that source property. The source, it will be item. In the source, I need to provide that URI, as is coming to be another HTTPS property. So item dot should be URI item dot, it would be, I think, URL to image. So that's the properties we're going to use. And first things, that image should be coming as a condition wise. Sometimes the image, it will be not there, so URL image, and that image properties would available. And also for the touchable opacity, before going on further, I'm gonna provide another view here. I'm gonna get a text property here. I'm gonna show that our item dot title, showcasing the title. Okay, so right now in that touchable opacity, let's say put a style, should be styles dot card properties. And what kind of things having that card is just making a border radius, overflow hidden, border width 1, and the border color is putting the light black, and margin bottom, which is 15. Okay, let's just go get our image ratio. And for the image, we will also provide, I think, where is that? That's when the tab item is here. Okay, for the image, going to grab an style, should be styles dot, and I'm gonna pass that image properties, and also resize mode should be cover. So now we should be seeing one image. And what kind of image we're talking about? If we go here, we're putting a width of 100%, means the parent width we are providing. Then we are providing a height of 200 pixel. So if we click on the business, you see that one, it should be changing. Politics is not changing, no worries, we'll fix it. Maybe something we're missing. Okay, we're gonna fix that. So right now what we need to do is to make it more plausible so it will work perfectly. Okay, so that's the card. So after that image, this view, putting a style where it should be styles dot card content. So in that card content, just passing a padding, which is the 16 padding properties. And right now I'm gonna dump 4 properties here. It's a simple property setup. One is coming for that item.title, another is coming for item.description here, and another is the publish at. So whenever the publish at is coming here, then we are passing that date string, which is making as a local string. So that's the simple paradigm we are making. And for the style, you can see the title, for we making the font size 18, font weight you can make bold, you can make 700, it will work properly. And after that we make the margin bottom 8, description font size 14, colors gray, margin bottom 8, and the publish at font size 12, colors the right gray, and for I think that mass age. So now we are having that our actual data layer. So now what we gonna have to do with that, whenever we're gonna click it, like on press, not click, on press, we want to make that navigation dot navigate. Where we want to navigate? We want to navigate to our news screen. So if I click on that particular layer of data, we should be able to see, you see, we are in the news screen. Okay, so let's roll back to the news property, news. In the news, I'm gonna pass our header. Okay, on the header, the icon should be, let's say icon should be true. Now we are in the news, can go back, click again, we can see the news. So right now let's just fix the properties when I think the selected items is not providing properly. So log should be selected tab, and I'm gonna see what's wrong here. So that's the top stories, that's the science, that's the politics. So means everything is working, but the data fetching is not coming properly. So instead of delving that, I'm gonna just make that fetch method. So let's just log this one. So let's say I'm gonna log this property. Oops, should be in a backtick, and category is not avail here, so I think the better should be just to grab it here. Okay, I'm gonna just see it from here, whatever the problem is just generating. Okay, the category, okay, if I click on the science properties, news API, headlines, category, science, and API key, providing the key. Okay, it's changed. So it's just initial issue, but right now it's gone. Sometimes it's having the caching properties. You better to just keep a reload and it will work perfectly. So now in the business, in the top stories, which is the general, in the technology, which it will change again. Okay, you can see if we click now here, we need to showcase our actual data properties. So how we can like instead now you can use the params to just send that actual data within that property, right, instead of just getting that other segment. But before going there, as you see in the bottom, we are not getting our second page loading, so we need to fix that. How we can fix that? It's a very simple way to fix it. We can render more data, or we can just fetch the data accordingly on that instance. So after that function, we'll take another use effect. On that hook, we will create one separate function, and here it will depend on the page. What I'm gonna say is that if page is bigger than 1, only then it gonna hit work, get data, and from there just take back to the page. And where we will let that happen, right? So we're gonna let that happen once it will just go end of that parameter. So it will be on end reach, and there we will make that, like say we're gonna pass that one function, should be handle load more. So on that parameter we will actually call that proportion. So let's go at the top, I believe top of that use effect, we're gonna make that handle get more. So here, okay, set page should be previous page, we're gonna make that pre page, and that one it will be pre page plus 1. So whenever the page 1, it will just go back, it will automatically render the data accordingly. So if we just roll back here right now, you see now it's loading and it's fetching the data. So it's okay. Now we're getting, even you see some images removed, but it's I see the error is not showcasing, just remove means remove, so it's working good. So now once we click on that particular data, we should be getting our ratio, the data ratio, and how we can send the data, right? First we need to send it, then we can feed it in the news. To send the data, as you see, after that news we will pass that data as the item properties, should be item, entire item we're gonna set. And for the type, we will go in the type. Here we will define several properties. Remember, now in the type we are just passing an undefined value. So in the news it will not be in undefined, so we're gonna pass that item, which it will be that news data. And as you see, after we did that, the error has gone. So now let's roll back to our news properties. Now we can get our actual indicator of data property. And first, to go that, what we can say, we can actually go and grab that from our like const route, should be that one. We can make that use route properties from next navigation, and that should be, I'm going to provide a news screen route prop property. So let's say as a prop, and right now we didn't create it, we need to create that one. So right now we're gonna make it as an empty value, it will be an empty segment. So here we're gonna make that, so should be type, I'm gonna just define that is typical typo here. So should be, I need to get my route properties, get my stack params, and that's it. So we're getting the route. So now if we just log our route, let's see what we are having in our route. So if we just click on the route, and let's see in that route we're having a key, we're having a name and the params, and so that is coming from there. So here If we click again, so that's the key with that param. In the params, you see we have the item. So from the params we can grab the items. Instead of keeping that one here, you can also grab it in that params here. Okay, params. So both way you can get. I'm just gonna get with the route for the type segment. So const item is equal to should be the route dot params. Okay, so now we are having the item. So first of all, let's just passing that item, and of course we will also get our navigation parameter. So const navigation is equal to use navigation, which going to be home screen navigation prop. Okay, and that one, it will be like that. Okay, cool. So now we should be able to showcase our data layer in particularly. Now to keep it aligned here, because we need to create one is called view properties, because it will be scrollable. Or first I'm going to take the view one so that you will see why we need that scroll view, right? So in that view, first thing first, we are going to showcase our property value. So it should be if there is item dot and that URL to image is available, only then we will render our image properties, and on that image should be having a source, should be the source properties, which will be in the source gonna providing the URI. On that URI should be item dot URL to image. Okay, and of course one more properties need to be aligned. Remember which the way we used to do it, get grabbing all the styles here. So in that bottom parameter, so that's our style paradigm for this build, for this page, for the screen here, for the news screen. So now in that view properties, we can now associate on that actual value ratio. First of all, put in the style, and here styles dot image should be applicable, so we can see the actual image properties. And also by default is the method is coming as a cover, but we will put in cover because as if it's fallback or something happen on that. So now after that parameter, we're gonna have a view. Now image, that image just providing a width of 100% width, so actual width property is grabbing, then the height is 250, margin bottom is 16. That's it. And after that we are having another view, and from that view we are grabbing the text property. On the text, grabbing that item dot title, so we are providing the title. On that particular segment, we are going to providing this style, should be styles dot the title text style. And also that view, we are going to provide a style dot contain, should be contain container. Okay, so that's content container, just passing a padding horizontal. So you see from the left right bottom, it's just giving a 10 of the padding, and the title font size getting 24. If you want to make it 34, no worries, you can make it, it depends on you. I'm gonna make it 24. Font weight is bold and margin bottom is 4. Okay, and after the title we will also pass the author, so should be text, should be let's say by, and here we're gonna pass that item dot author. If item dot author is provided, then author, otherwise should be unknown author. Done. So here in that property, style should be styles dot author properties. That's the simple font size, colors, and margin bottom. Okay, and one more property is also you're gonna render for our that published date. Remember again on the text property should be published at, and here it will be within the JavaScript syntax, should be new, and okay, second bracket should be appearing here, new, and we need to passing that date, item dot should be item dot published at, and dot to local string. I'm gonna just pass it within the local string properties. Done. So we should getting our date here, and style should be styles dot published at, and that one also same. I think this one I'm gonna make it 16 so that you can, it will be muchly visible, and 14. So you see the publish at, and I think let's make it gray. Yeah, so you can see that properly. Now later on you can change the design, because I'm using the emulator, so it's not coming in a proper some color thresholding is there, but in real device it will be just perfect on that. So here we're gonna grab that, should be that item dot description here. Then we're gonna grab that our content should be item dot content, and after that we're gonna get another properties which gonna say trending news. So that's the all our properties, and here for the style going to be styles dot description, and for the content properties we're gonna get a similar name. So style should be style dot not container but contained, and for the trending properties let's put style, and that should be styles dot recommendation title. So now if you roll back from here, as you see, the font size parameter only and bold and 8, content 14, gray, recommendation title 20, font weight bold, margin vertical 16. Now that is just holding the character. As if you just roll back here and if we just log our properties, if we log our item here, so that's the item, so log item, you can see the item basically is just is providing an hold for that this one. So it's not providing the entire description here, so that's much description is providing, especially in the content. It's just not providing the entire content. You see it's stuck on that, so we're just generating this content. And there is one similar way to generating that content layer, and how you can grab that before rendering that scenario. I think, yeah, that was fine. Let's just bring back our trending news. To roll back the trending news properties, we will go with a similar fashion. So what we want to do is that after that portion we will get that and use the type. Now we will get one API call to grab our trending data, remember. So it will be within the use effect, we're gonna make that call. So use effect, okay, so close the dependency here, and now we will create a function const fetch trending news, which also going to be a sync function. Okay, here we are going to make that let's say we are just going to pass the responses here to grab the call. So should be const, and also we can define the try catch block here, and here we will just pass the error here. So it should be error fetching trending news, and here we're gonna pass the error if we are facing any error here. And now const response should be is equal to await, and this time also you're gonna fetch the response directly. And from there, similar fashion, https://newsapi.org/version2/ it will be top headlines, and then the category we are going to provide. The category should be SCIENCE science. We're gonna just pass that as a science category. You can pass any category if you want. Then API key should be on that, we're gonna pass that news API key. And also we can pass the per page scenario, so not per page, I think the page scenario. So and the page size should be by default 10. We're gonna get the at least the 10 properties should be coming from there. Now const data should be await, and that one getting should be response.json. and now if data dot status is equal to okay, only then we're gonna pass it through. Set trending news should be data dot articles. Remember we used to do it before. So now after that ratio we can just call that fetch trending news. So whenever it land gonna there, it will get me the trending news property. If we come here, as you see, we have trending properties. If we roll back here, if we click any other news, as you see, we're grabbing that trending news. So now we can showcase our trending news. And to showcase the news, what we can do is to create it in a very unique way. As you see, after the trending text, we will get another flat list. Okay, so in that flat list we will provide the data which going to be a trending news data. Let's see, provide the key extractor which also going to generate as an item, and also going to get the index, say index dot to string. Okay, that's it. And in the render item, we're gonna make it render trending news card. You can make it simple properties, but I'm just gonna elaborating it so that you can understand it properly. So on that property value, we're gonna pass that item by default, because whenever we're gonna rendering any of the item there, similarly is getting passing that item. Okay, so the item, the trending items, it getting the actual item over there. So in an instantly we can just getting destructure that one and grab that items which we are rendering. So here on that item properties should be news data. Okay, so right now what we need to pass from there, again the similar touchable opacity need to be imported here, and then we're gonna pass our item dot, if we have that URL to image, and then we're gonna pass that method. So if we have that, we're gonna pass that one image property. On that image property we need to pass that source, which going to be in the source need to pass the URI, which will be item dot URL image, URL to image. And also for the style should be styles dot trending image properties one, and then also you're gonna pass that resize mode, which will be should be what's wrong, cover, save. So now as you see, we are having that property, but we cannot scroll together on that. So instead of that view, we should have that scroll view on it. Okay, we need to enclose tag also should be scroll tag. As you see, that's the property. Now we can scroll through it. Okay, so even you come back here, if you click any of that, okay, so now we will fix that virtualization error. We're gonna manage that one. So first thing first, that's our scroll view. So we have everything within that properties, and we are not passing any other parameter here. So right now what I'm gonna do, make it more flexible. And how we can do that to make it flexible, that's the one, the actual property. I'm gonna make it horizontal method, so it will be keep pushing together as a horizontal value. And then also I'm gonna make that here, that show horizontal indicator should be as false. And after that content should be container style should be styles dot trending list. Okay, so now the trending list, how is providing the data, if you just showcase the padding vertical is going to be 8, that's it. And also one will be the horizontal indicator, and beside that also I'm gonna make show vertical, that vertical it will not be appearing there. Okay, let's go in our trending news card where we can make it more flexible to go through it and grab the style. And for the style here, let's put style should be styles dot, and that should be the trending card. Okay, cool. So in the trending card, we are making that margin right 16. We are passing a width of 150, border width 1, and border colors light black, and border radius 8. Why didn't grab that? Because the width is coming from here, 150s, remember? So if I just make it comment image, it will disappear, right? We don't have any image. Either you can keep it here, or you can also grab it here 150. If we just grab it 200, it will overlap our previous value. So better to provide it in the parent, then pass it here directly. Now we are having one image, and after that particular image layer we will pass an view. Within that view we're gonna have similar properties previously what we have. We can pass the two properties, which will be the title and author. So now as you see here is stuck together. I think scroll is not working, should be working. What I'm gonna do, that scroll view, put a style here. You can also make inline style, So the padding bottom should be, let's put 200 just to see if it's what is wrong here. Okay, it's not, okay, it's not scrolling. What's wrong here? We need to find out. In this scroll view, it's not scrolling. That's ridiculous. And we make it as a horizon where we provide this scroll view. So that's the scroll view which we provide. Okay, that's the problem, because we use the scroll view, then we use the flat list, so that's crashing altogether. So that is the problem. So right now we can also manipulate that one by this way. We can make with that like trending news dot map. We can also provide like that way. So should be passing that, okay, it will be there, should be passing that, like what's the name we are providing, should be render trending card, and the item should be passing that item. I don't know if it's going to work, because that render item should be a capital letter, and here I'm going to pass a in a capital letter. Okay, yeah, now it's going to generate. Okay, let's see if we click any of that. You see, yeah, now it's coming, but we need to tweak a bit. How we can tweak that? We can pass it within a view, remember, so we need to pass within the view. So this time the scroll view, it will work. You see, the scroll view is perfectly aligned on that. And also, yeah, but still I'm not satisfied with the generating that one. So let's put style and flex direction should be raw. Okay, now see, yeah, now it's scrolling. Is it scrolling? Okay, what's wrong? Okay, we will fix that. Okay, I'm just gonna go in my previous method, previous scenario, just to see if we can find a solution here. Instead of mapping, I'm gonna use that, but let's see, because previously it worked, so it's supposed to work. Okay, so in our last build we did it, so means it's supposed to work. So this is the scroll view, and that's the flat list. So we have the data, we have the render item, and create structure there, horizontal is there, and for that show horizontal indicate, show horizontal is screen indicator. Also we can make that show vertical scroll indicator should be false. Okay, done. So now for that scroll view, I'm gonna see padding bottom background color should be red, just to see if okay. Then margin bottom, okay, now it's scrolling. I think it's not getting that properties, not getting that properties. So what if I make it a flex one? Okay, padding bottom should be 200. So once we are providing that, it's not generating this scenario. That's super annoying. If I make that as a flex one, okay, if we make flex one, why it should appearing? So let's make that style should be flex should be 1, and background color should be, let's put colors dot white. Okay, so our parent layer is there, so we can now make it as a white. So this is the one we can define here. So instead of this portion, we will make that as style dot container view. So in that class name properties, we're gonna fix that. So it should be container view. So this property going to hold my this screen. So tainer container, okay, should be comma. Okay, so right now we are having that, and if you want to make it more elaborate, you can also provide, I think, padding bottom, not block, should be bottom. We can provide 100 pixel, so it will also take it. I think padding bottom, where is said that? Okay, this, not this one. The padding bottom should be coming from these properties. So here on that trending list, let's say padding bottom should be 100, so that you can see the bottom layer also. Once you just go, I think 100 is more, I'm gonna just provide as 50. Okay, cool. So now you see the text is scratched together, so we need to fix that text property. And how we can fix that? It's a very also having a simple way. Remember, it's generating in a view here, so let's provide, so style should be styles dot, we need to make that, or instead, as you see, we are making that, so should be padding horizontal should be, let's say 5. Okay, now you see it's coming together. Now it's not a good practice to keep that style here, it's look messy, right? But why I'm showcasing here that you can do it if you want. If you want it, you can do it. Now in this scenario, you also need to create that navigation parameter. And how we to create that? Remember, once we click on that particular parameter, we should, like on phrase, it should also going through that navigation.navigate. It will roll back to us the news screen, then passing the item properties. If we click on there, you see, that's the icon. If we click, that's the one. If we click, that's the one. So means it's working perfectly. So now it's time to let's work on that our sign in screen properties. Let's just roll to our sign in.csx. So in this phase, we are going to create the sign in scenario, and the similar fashion, let's just grab our style properties. So this will be our style, and need to grab the colors. Okay, done. Also, now previously we used the height, this time we use the width. Similar fashion from there, width should be coming from there, and it should be getting from dimension.get, should be the window dimension. Dimension need to import it from that React Native. Now here on that particular view, we're gonna go and grab that other scenario and properties. So first of all, in that view, print style should be styles.container. So this container going to providing a flex 1 and background color of colors white. You can also create that using a wrapper function if you want, but I'm just going in a very simple way. It depends, if you want to create it, you can do it. So now here we are not going to use the header, right? We're not going to wrap the header. Instead of the header, we will pass a view properties, and then we're gonna pass our logo. So now why logo? So in the logo, if we click on the logo, we can always go back to the home, so no need to fetch the other properties. So now this view here, put it style should be styles dot content view, not container, content view. So this content view going to grab everything like a flex 1, align item center, justify center, keep everything in the center align. Now after that logo, I'm gonna grab a text which gonna say sign in. So that text also put a style properties here. That styles going to be that sign in text properties, and that one contains that font size 25, font weight 700, and margin top of 20. And after this parameter, we are going to getting a view properties again, and then we are going to render a text input properties. On the placeholder, I'm gonna say email or passwords. You see, that's the input value field is right here. So we can now start working on it, make it more correctable way. So also for the style should be styles dot input view style, and that input view style is getting that full weight minus 30. So it will get the full weight, but not actual. It's gonna get minus 30 from that. If we just make that background, you see, if we just make it as a red, you can see it's grabbing that but passing the 30 15 15 both side. It will just left as a 15 pixel, so it will contradict with the accordingly to having the 30 pixel. Now here we're gonna define some more parameter. The placeholder text should be, color should be that dark gray color, and that style parameter should be style, it will be styles dot, and then we're gonna make that input style. So what kind of style is having, you see, instead of I think colors dot black I'm gonna keep so that it will be easily visible. You see the color properties is like border bottom weight is 0.5 and border bottom color is the black, padding horizontal 6, padding margin margin top is 15, font size 18, font weight 500. If I write something, you see is properly aligned. So that's the one parameter here, one text properties. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna copy that and paste it. So here instead of email, so here sorry, not email and password, should be email and username. Here it will contain that password. So now if I type something, you see, you can see the letter. We don't want to show the password to that user, right? So oops, it will be password, I think security, yeah, that's the content of security text entry should be true, so that you can see right now whatever you type it will not be visible. Okay, and after this parameter we will pass one touchable opacity, which going to say a text button which will say as sign in, not sign, S-I-G-N, sign in. So in that parameter, let's say style prop should be styles dot button view, not text button view. So that's the view is created, and here should be styles dot button text. So what's the button view means? Button view means having a background color of blue, padding vertical 10, margin top is 20, and button text is the color of white. Text should be center aligned, font size 20, font weight 700, and border radius. That's the button text should not get the border radius. That's the one should get the border radius, right? So should be border radius of 7. I think 7 is not a good idea. What about 37? No, it's not. Oh, again we are providing in a wrong place, so should be not here, should be here. Border radius, let's say 20. You can see the border, so let's put 7. Okay, cool. After that button ratio, as you see that after that button view, we can now make that another touchable opacity here, and here we will say when the text wrapper should be needs help signing in, so passing a text. And after that, so on that parameter, let's say style should be style does help text. So okay, what's wrong, font weight, okay, let's go in the help text. The font weight is 700. Nothing wrong here, but what's happened here? Oh, sorry, it should be providing here on that parameter, that help text, not other view. So in that paradigm should be style, and that one is styles dot help view. Okay, so now what it means from here, in the help view we are putting a padding vertical 15, border bottom weight of 5, and border bottom color of colors light black. We can just make it as a black. So in the help text, the colors blue, font weight 700, font size, and text decoration. Cool. Now after bypassing all other things, I'm going to create another view. Within that view, I'm going to get a text. On that text say should be don't have a BBC account. So that's it. And after that parameter, passing another touchable opacity, generating the text should be register say now. Okay, cool. Here in that view, put a style, but I'm gonna keep that view as an empty for this particular instances. Put a style, styles dot no account text should be aligned here, and this text contain that color should be black, font weight should be 700, and font size should be 17. And after that we are having another proportion which is called that register now. On that register now we're gonna have a touchable opacity there, and so that on in that style parameter we will pass several styles. First one, it will be styles dot help text. So that's the style it will go. And after that also you're gonna make text align should be center. So that's it. I think don't have a, I think here we can make a more sharpening. Okay, you can make more style here. Should be padding vertical, should be 10 just to keep it center. I'm gonna make it in the middle. Okay, and align items should be center, and you say justify content should be center. Or instead of doing that, no need to just passing on that variation, no text, I'm gonna make that text align should be center. Cool, done. So also you can just pass that padding 10, or you can make it 20 so that it will just giving a top-notch view. So with that, there is this properties, and there is another cool trick is there which I can show you, creating a wave view. As you see, so I'm gonna go in npm, because whenever we can come in that single scenario, I'm gonna just render you there. So the sign in is done. If we just go in that news properties, and here if we just make a log as in the item, I think, yeah, item. So I will just show you one trick there. You see in that source on that URL, right? If I just copy that properties, so copy string content, and you come back here, enter the content, I will be able to create that entire page of that CNBC, whatever the news portal is providing. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna make that npm the package manager here, and we're gonna say React Native Wave View. Okay, so that wave view, it can be possibly generate a view here by which we can showcase the wave view directly embedded within our application. So it's a super cool and great feature. You can just easily create your wave view within the application layer, and you can use it very simple way. You see, you need to just grab that, then passing the content and making this style. That's it. So what I'm gonna do once we are coming in that page scenario, so that's the layer it will be here. So first thing first, I'm gonna just remove that entire, so that's the scroll bar here, that's the properties here. I'm gonna remove that, or I'm gonna just comment, oops, it should be this layer. I'm gonna comment out, so no content is available, right? So first thing first, I'm gonna copy, I'm gonna import that wave view here, and within the wave view I'm gonna pass my parameter, so it will be wave view. And first, how we can grab it? First we need to pass the source URI, right? So the source URI, it should be, let's go here, should be source URI, should be URI, and here the name of URI is coming from item.url, right? So that's the one, so should be item.url, and also the class, specifically style should be flag should be 1. Hit save. Let's see if it's not generating. You just need to make close your browser, then rerun again, because sometimes it's having the problem on installing the new packages. You just need to roll back to go backward and close it and run it. Okay, it's creating, and we are having a slight issue. Okay, I think we did it in a correct way. We are passing a flex 1, and that's it. So it should not having a problem. We're passing in the URI, so the item.url is grabbing. If we take okay, type it, or wave view of undefined, so the wave view is not reading. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna close it again, and then npm start again. That's happened once you are developing in the Android, but once you're running in iOS, that kinds of scenario is not coming that much. So I prefer build a native application using that iOS, but you know, so many people are referring why iOS, why not Windows. That's the Windows. So just give it a time to compile again, then we can run it. Okay, so let's run in the Android. Okay, application is run. I think this time we should not having any problem. If we click, we are having still a problem. I think that's the problem from the scroll view. Okay, we can do one more thing. I'm gonna take a bit one layer down. I'm gonna uncomment it. I'm gonna comment all together this portion. So maybe it's just an independent value here. And also I'm gonna remove this log here, which is just generating. Okay, cool. So now as you see, we are grabbing entire things from there, right? So whatever this alignment here is coming, like if we just go directly back in technology, if we click on that, so from whatever portal is generating the news, it should align. You see, that's portal. You can now directly generating the entire system, like whatever the news is showcasing there, you can just showcase. If you want to do in that way, okay, fine. If you want to make it in that way, that also be perfectly fine. No worries, it will work in both way. In legitimate way, you can just prefer it the way you want. So now within that parameter, we are good to go to build our application in that Android layer. Now those who you are using that iOS, it's pretty simple. You can do the same setup. Just whenever you're running, just run it in iOS and then just go through it. And again, I'm saying less configurable there, and it will be smoothly running there. It's super fast and super fun. Will be if you're using the iOS. So this sign in and register, I will do it. If there is in the comments is coming 1020 request, yes, we want that more part on that React Native. With that sense, then I'm gonna publish that code, whatever we type here, just pass it here today. Then we're gonna just create a new one, then go through it and gonna pass this entire build from the beginning. So also, how's the build is going on, let me know in the comments. If you feel this better, I'll be happy. And you know, I'm gonna do some more with so many other criteria and so many other build. It's super cool to build in the React Native nowadays, and it's very fast and very vast also, especially if you having that debugger here. I was closing my tab, that's why it just gone away. I'm gonna close the tab right now. And so this is the scenario, and you can go and create the web view. Now those who want to just go and create a build here, you can showcase like that, put like cd into Android, and here you can just make that Gradle, and here you can make that, I think that's release builds you can make. It's a pretty simple command. I think I misspelled that. It should be that Gradle assemble release. If you enter that, it will go and create a release build for you. As you see, all the one is running right now. And after building, if you roll back to the Android, then in the app folder, you can just go in the build section and you see that generated. Here it will, I think not here, it should be in that outputs. Here that APK, it will come. Right now it's having the debug after passing that production. Which the command we pass, I think we passed that as a release build maybe. Okay, let's see which the command. I think assemble release we passed, so it should be the release build. Okay, just give it the time to build your application and then it will just go in a good way. I think that's okay, we'll see after having that properties how the things is coming up. I think we can go that too far later on, because you can find that in the debug mid also. You can just use that APK debug build to just use and circulate on that particularly, so it will work for that debug instances. You can circulate that build and people can use your application and having a better idea how it's functioning. So I think for this build today's is so far we are landing here from this dummy to creating a new application using that latest 0.76.1, and all are built in native, and it's pretty fast. As you see, it's working perfectly fast and super cool. Instance are not like previously built in our React Native application, and nowadays it's getting super fast and having a good combination, and you can perfectly align that all together. It's just API call is rendering, so it's nothing to do with that particularly. So I think you can go and give it a try to build this application and have a better idea how native application is building. And don't worry, let me know in the comments if you're looking forward to having same kind of this application in future, more on that. Don't worry, I'm gonna provide that, and I'm gonna come up with so many new feature build, and hope I'm gonna see you in the next build.